call the meeting to order. Start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning, everyone. We will start with the agenda. Al, do you have anything to add?
Yes, we add the two calves out on the 14th Street project. We need to address that. The two dead calves on 14th Street project.
Dave?
No.
Craig?
No.
Bob? And I have nothing. So look for a motion to approve the agenda.
So move. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Kleeman, seconded by Commissioner Olson to approve the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Guess we did that backwards. Approval of minutes.
I move to approve as presented.
Okay.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Pelton, seconded by Commissioner Heiser to approve the minutes as presented. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. There were no public comment signed up, so I guess we can move forward with the rest of the agenda. I guess at this time we'll have the Sheriff Department recognition for those that. Okay. I'm just gonna do that next. Okay. Jeff, do you want to? Yeah, go ahead. Okay.
These are the two new road department employees.
Yep.
This is
Adam. Yep.
Adam has been here before.
Yep.
You guys know him. I'm in Davis and I came up from there.
Oh, right. Well, welcome.
Welcome aboard.
You guys. Yep. Yeah, thank you very much. Okay. He said Jeff, and I said, what? I'm thinking. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, at this time we'll have the Sheriff Department recognition. These guys completed the EMT class certification, so turn over to Gary and.
I'll just stand here and I'll have them come up front. So today we have Kyle Richardson, soon to be sergeant. We got Jay Young, and Nick Barnhart couldn't be here today, but he also completed the course. I guess to me it means a lot because this is something that they went above and beyond for the county. They didn't have to do this. They did it on their own. Anytime we can increase our medical knowledge out in the field to help our citizens, I think that's a great thing. I have the utmost respect and gratitude that they did this to, you know, it was a long course, very time consuming. I don't know if any of you have ever been through it, but it's not a simple, you know, one-day course that you go and attend and you get your certificate. This takes months, and they spent a lot of time and put a lot of dedication into it. And it was all selfless on their behalf, take care of our citizens. A lot of times when we respond to medical calls, we're the first ones on the scene, and sometimes it's quite a bit before the ambulance service. And I'm not trying to take anything away from the ambulance service because they do a great job, but it's just by, you know, happenstance a lot of times that we get to the calls first. And for them to have that advanced knowledge now to increase the success rate of somebody's survivability once we get on the scene is pretty great. So it really means a lot to me that they did this. It means a lot to our department that they did it. And we have them up here today to congratulate them. And I think Harold has some pins we're going to put on them, or they are put on, for their successful completion of the National Registry Emergency Medical Technicians Program. So, Harold, go ahead and pin them. He was going to stab it in the
Yeah.
chest with
Yeah.
old Marine,
Oh, yeah.
so
Yeah.
apparently he didn't want to do it today. But thank you guys on
Yep.
behalf of our department, and we really appreciate the effort. I know Nick couldn't be here, but the same thing, my same words go out to him today. So thank you guys, and thank you for all you do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Yes,
guys.
much appreciated. Thanks, Gary. Okay, let's move on now with road department and engineers reports. So we have Carl.
Good morning.
Morning, Carl.
Project updates, 92nd Avenue. We're just working through trying to get that last easement taken care of. Had a little bit of difficulty getting a hold of the landowner, so we'll just keep trying to get him on the phone and get a meeting set up to get that one taken care of. 12th Street, we're working on the easements as well, setting up some meetings in the field with some landowners to get those taken care of. 16th Street, we did redesign the grading around the cultural site on that project. I believe we have a way we can get around that, so we'll be resubmitting the grading plan for the permit for that project. 20th Street, preliminary design has been completed. Our grading plan currently has 0.31 acres of wetland disturbance. We're looking to identify if we can mitigate that on site, or if credits will be necessary. So that'll be a future decision of the commission, which route we would go there. But right now we're trying to look at options to mitigate on site with that one. 86th and 9th, still just working through a little bit of grading and determining our impacts. 98th Avenue, grading plan on that project shows only 0.19 acres of wetland disturbance. And those are on two separate sites, so we may be able to get that down under the 1/10 of an acre threshold each, which may result in not having to mitigate whatsoever on that project. So that would be positive if we can make that happen. 2026 projects, all the field surveys have been completed on 94th and 79th. Our subconsultant has done the shovel approach for the projects. We're reviewing those areas against our grading as we go to avoid those completely from the start. We did begin some design work on 94th Avenue as well. So any questions?
I believe so.
All right,
Thank you, Carl.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Carl.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Morning, Darren.
Have some updates. Well, let's start with 119th. So we're still waiting for CSI to give us a start date on that project. They're behind on a couple other large projects that they're working for some other clients. They got held up due to the wet weather. In the meantime, utility relocations are going on. I think Mackenzie Electric is the only one that is still in the process of getting everything relocated. I think they have 3 poles left to move. You've seen action out there, Commissioner
Yeah,
Mazel?
yeah, they're out there working.
Yeah, so they anticipate finishing this soon. So maybe that's not necessarily a bad thing. We'll continue pushing all the utilities, but I guess, again, I think Mackenzie's the only remaining one. Everybody else is out of the way. This project does have a November 1st completion date. CSI, when they put their horses through a project, they can get a lot of work done. So I'm not too worried about the November 1st completion date at this time. But questions on 119th? Next, for 99th Avenue Southwest, we've begun acquiring the right-of-way for that. Commissioner Superintendent Schwarzenberger and myself went out and met with all the landowners. They had some comments. They actually, one of the majority landowners out there wanted a little wider footprint out there, so we made those design changes. The other significant landowner out there has having the easement reviewed by their lawyer. Design changes have been incorporated, easement documents have been updated, and we're scheduling our second appointments to acquire all the right-of-way. Hopefully by the next commission meeting, we can start advertising this project and get a bid. Questions on 99th? Hearing none. So Manning, our water group, finished the easement documents. This, I believe, was yesterday, and sent them to Holly. Holly's in the process of reviewing and commenting. I saw she sent an email that had some comments on it already, and I spoke with her about it. The next part of that would be to set up another public meeting where Southwest and Manning Water Works will be there, and then hopefully we can acquire the right-of-way for the water line improvement portions of that project. Questions on Manning? Okay, 2025 projects, so 3rd Street Northwest. So Terry and I were meeting with some landowners. One of the ones in particular, there's a curve that was out there with the old highway alignment that we were directed to follow. She had requested if we could push that curve a little bit further south. She had concerns about it encroaching, the new project encroaching on the proximity to her home. We were able to make some revisions to that and still stay within our core permit. And so the next part is to just update the right-of-way documents and go out there and meet with them and acquire right-of-way on that. So questions on 3rd. Next, 7th Street Southwest, 97th to 94th. We finished working through the cultural impacts with the Corps regarding the permit for that portion, and we'll be receiving the permit for 7th. However, SHPO is requesting additional cultural work for the second portion, and we're working with Beaver Creek to update those requirements. So the second part of 7th is the same. We did get a Corps permit for that here last week, so we're just have a little bit on that first part yet that we're working with the Corps on. Questions on 7th? For 2026, the 115th and 1st Street, we had given Superintendent Schwarzenberger a preliminary alignment. If you guys want to check that out. Beaver Creek's completed the wetland and cultural work for the project with the exception of one landowner. I've been working with her. We got it down to an acceptable study area. Again, I don't know if you guys recall, but she was kind of concerned about having cultural people out there and how that might impact the use of her land in the future. I think we've got her comfortable now. I called her last night and she was in the middle of something, but I anticipate getting that resolved here down. We're down to 140 feet out there and it sounds like she'll accept this. So it's moving forward. Questions on that project? Okay, and did you want to bring up 14?
I think we should discuss that. In all the years I've been in this kind of work, apparently this spring during the construction was calving time and dust and a couple of calves had perished, and so now the landowner's wanting somebody to make restitution for the cost of the calves. So I think this board needs to give some direction how we're going to deal with it, because I don't have a good.
And if I may add, Commissioner Heiser, it was record heat as well. So I mean, the conditions were pretty rough.
Yeah. So Commissioner Heiser, and I know the letter was left on our places at the last meeting, and it was sent to State's Attorney Kissinger to advise us, and I haven't heard yet. So, I mean, that's where it's at. So I think we got to be, who's responsible, and I don't know that we're prepared to make that kind of decision, whether it's the county or the construction company or whatever. So that's where it's at. It's not that we didn't.
I hadn't heard
waiting to
nothing,
hear back.
and
Yeah.
Mary was concerned that it's just being not dealt with. So, but I guess that'll be the answer, that it's in the state's attorney's hands for now.
Yeah, I had talked to her, and it was sent to her, but haven't heard anything, and she's gone this week, so.
All right. Thank you.
Welcome. Very good. Thank you.
Yep, thank you, Darren.
Madam Chairman, what are we gonna do about this? I mean, Mary stopped me the other day in the convenience store over here at the store, and that wasn't a good conversation. So I don't know, I think we need to find out where we're gonna go with this. If we're gonna turn it over to our insurance, let our insurance do it,
Mhm.
or Darren take care of it, or what? We need to start doing something.
And that's why it's with the state's attorney's office.
Oh,
right
the
now.
state's attorney's
Yeah,
yet?
that's what I had just said.
Okay,
so-
I did not hear that. Sorry about that.
Right. James?
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning,
Morning.
James.
Morning.
Some brief updates. We've got that 27th Street project going. Rock has been an issue, but they're handling it well. We'd like to recommend payment of estimate number 2 to Schwartz Construction in the amount of $160,245.68.
Madam Chairman, I move that we pay estimate number 2 in the amount of $160,245.68 for 27th Street Southwest to Schwartz Construction.
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Pelton, seconded by Commissioner Heiser to pay estimate number 2 to Schwartz Construction in the amount of $160,245.68. Any discussion? Not roll call vote.
Commissioner Heiser?
Yes.
Commissioner Olson?
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton?
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman?
Yes.
Commissioner Dolzall?
Yes, the motion carries.
Thank you. 109th is just kind of a placeholder. We're waiting to hear back on any developments with the landowners. 82nd South, going through a final QC this week. We will have these items completed and delivered to the road department before the next meeting. They're still working on making sure that all the dirt balances and working on our slope easements, getting all that documentation put together for the road department. So we should have all that delivered in the next 2 weeks. And then on North, as we kind of get through harvest season and construction season, we can kind of jump back in with both feet on visiting with landowners. I've talked to Superintendent Schwarzenberger about this. So yeah, as we near the end of summer, we can start revisiting those landowners on that portion of that project.
And we've had some positive results. I think, just like you said, when we get a chance to work with them. So. I have a question. Like on 27th Street, common excavation is what price? What price is rock excavation? How much? What is it like? Used to be like 5 times the price of dirt. I mean, what is it? What is a rock excavation?
According to the PS1, the latest PS1 schedule, it's $30 a cubic yard. It went up from $14.75,
And how many yards of rock have we hit so far?
over 2,000.
Yeah.
There's a lot. There's a lot of rock.
I know I run into a landowner, he says, my God, you're building a road out of rock, but I mean, that's, you gotta get through the hill, and it's unfortunate, but I just was curious, what, for the rock excavation?
And in reality, I think that's a much fairer price because it is so hard on equipment.
Oh, I get it, yeah. Thank you.
Anything else? Thank you, James.
Thank you.
Hi, Jeremy.
Morning.
Morning.
Got a few pay estimates to review with you. Starting with 119th and 22nd Street, that project got started a little bit last week. This week they put in a large concrete pipe, but we do have pay estimate number 1. The amount is $93,647, which would be payable to Bronco Brothers Construction, and we are recommending payment in that amount for that project.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to pay estimate number 1, the amount of $93,647 to Schwartz Construction. I mean, excuse me, Bronco.
There's a second.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Heiser, second by Commissioner Kleeman to pay estimate number 1 to Broncos for $93,647. Any more discussion? We'll have roll call vote.
Commissioner Heiser?
Yes.
Commissioner Olson?
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton?
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman?
Yes.
Commissioner Dalzell?
Yes, motion carries.
Next project would be the 105th Avenue, also being built by Bronco Brothers Construction. We have pass estimate number 7. The amount is $216,141.45, and we would recommend paying Bronco Brothers for that project for number 7.
Madam Chairman, I move that we pay estimate number 7 for $216,141.45 for 105th Avenue to Bronco Brothers.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Pelton, seconded by Commissioner Olson to pay estimate number 7 to Bronco Brothers in the amount of $216,141.45. Any further discussion? Roll call vote.
Commissioner Heiser?
Yes.
Commissioner Olson?
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton?
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman?
Yes.
Commissioner Dalzell?
Yes, the motion carries.
Next project, a brief update, 98th Avenue and 4th Street in the vicinity of Dunn Center. That is going to be built by Bechtold Paving out of Minot. We had a pre-construction meeting last week. They're looking at starting potentially the week of Labor Day or potentially late August, but ultimately I think it's going to be Labor Day week for that project. 97th Avenue being built by Jens Brothers Construction. We have pass estimate number 5. The amount is $91,452.86, which I would recommend payment to Jens Brothers for that project.
Jeremy, is that pay estimate 4 or 5?
I believe
says-
it's number 5.
Okay.
Yes, it's number 5.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to pay estimate number 5 to Jensen Brothers for $91,452.86.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Heiser, seconded by Commissioner Pelton to pay estimate number 5 to Jensen Brothers in the amount of $91,452.86. Any further discussion? Okay, roll call vote.
Commissioner Heiser?
Yes.
Commissioner Olson?
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton?
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman?
Yes.
Commissioner Dalzell?
Yes, the motion carries.
Next project, the Pinewood Meadow subdivision. Nothing new to report, really. They're looking at starting sometime in September, but we haven't heard a detailed timeline on that either. So next project is the 10th Street, 113th Avenue and 7th Street. Had a utility meeting and pre-construction meeting in the last couple of weeks. Bronco Brothers is intending on starting, I believe, late August, so the next couple weeks they should be able to get started. They're going to focus primarily on culvert installations, specifically centerline culvert installations. Grading may follow this fall yet, but ultimately I think it's going to be finished next year for that project. 3T Avenue, not a whole lot to report. We had bid opening last meeting. Wind construction was a low bid. We believe they're going to start in September, but once again, we haven't heard of a detailed schedule for that project. Some of the design projects, we're going to try and meet up with the landowners again on 114th, do a field review once harvest sort of wraps up or haying season wraps up here. 104th Avenue, trying to secure that easement. So we're not probably at a point where we can go to bid opening just yet. BIA 10, we have a little capacity, so we're going to just finish those plans up. We're not getting a whole lot of communication with MHA, but we'll just finish the plans. Then they can take that to bid. So the next couple of weeks is our goal is to finish that those plans up. And just as a reminder to the commission agreed to pay for the engineering, design engineering only. You guys really have nothing to do with the construction. So that's held by another entity to do that, but we'll finish your responsibility of the engineering in the next couple weeks. Inactive design projects, not a whole lot. change there. Last but not least, we worked with Superintendent Schwarzenberger on what used to be called the Flex Funding Program. Now, as you're a oil producing county, that you don't really qualify for that, but they have a program called Grants for Bridges. So we worked with Terry and the DOT and identified 5 bridges as priorities to be replaced. We don't know how they're going to score. We probably won't know that for a couple of months, but we do have those applications in. So hope for the best on that one. Hopefully we get 2 or 3 of them funded, but we won't know for a couple of months. Any questions on projects or grants for bridges or anything else?
Did you come up with anything on getting rid of some of the old bridges?
So we looked at those, and the bridges we were talking about, the one, the couple kind of on Spring Creek west of Werner, they are not on the DOT inventory list anymore, so they don't qualify for that. However, if they're still, some of them are used sparingly, you still could replace them, but there's really no state or federal program to do that. But if you want to put low water crossing in, for instance, that would have to be out of county funding, because I don't think there's a program to replace that with any other funds.
I know we just discussed that here.
Right. Yeah. No, and I think, and I don't know the avenue very well, but I think it leads to a Hassauer place that crosses Spring Creek. I think that's maybe the low water crossing you're thinking of, or something similar to that. We did something over on Stottinger's and east of Halliday. There's some cost in those, but those are generally pretty maintenance free. Mm-hmm. For those bridges that are used sparingly, that's probably the way to go. But I don't think there's a way to get someone else to pay for it. So
Jeremy, on BIA 10, the plans, they're all done. You're just wait and submitted to the MHA.
They are not done. That's what we're going to finish in the next 2 weeks. Yep.
But you haven't heard back either from.
Right. There's some kind of, I'll say, design details that we would like to have figured out, just from the owner's perspective. And then there's always been this confusion on right-of-way. Has the right-of-way been acquired? We think so, but no one's definitively told us that the right-of-way has been acquired. So what we're going to do is finish up the plans and then kind of put the onus on the owner, BIA or the tribe, to verify the right-of-way. That was never in your scope of work or our scope of work. But you guys were responsible for the engineering, and that's what we're doing. This other right-of-way things kind of came up after the fact, but it's really on the owner to verify that.
Okay, I just had a call from Ken Danks out there, and he's kind of wondering what the status was. So.
Yeah, no, I think in the next couple of weeks, we're just going to send off the plans, and then they're going to kind of take the ball and run with it.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks. Thank you.
Excuse me. A few meetings ago, Matt Ose was in here with the city of Killdeer, and we were talking about that sidewalk to go from the school out to the Cowboy Station.
Yeah.
Were you looking into that at all?
Yeah, so what we've done so far, we haven't had any meetings with anybody, but we're trying to put some maps together with, I'm going to say, a couple alternate routes, how to get where everyone wants to go, and whether there's some redundancy in that. If there's a one-way trail is one thing, but is there any way we could make a loop out of it? We have some ideas, but between the city and you guys ultimately have to put it together. But we're trying to put some maps together, which kind of shows some different alternates, whether those are good alternates or not. But I think we want to try to have some thought before we present anything to you guys or the city.
Okay.
Sounds good. Thank you, Jeremy.
Yep. Thank you.
Terry.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning, Terry.
There is no utility permits today.
Just a little update, the open house last week went good. There was actually more kids last week than we've seen at any of them. The rest of the turnout was a little smaller, but like I said, there was more kids than there has been. Met the 2 new road department employees. They're graveling east of Marshall on 20th, and then I think they're moving to 22nd west of Highway 8, and the ditch mowing, road mowing is starting now too, so I'm sure we'll hear a few complaints, but the grass, the way it's growing, we need to get started and start taking care of that, so that's about it for today, I guess.
Okay. Any questions for Terry? Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Okay, 9:30. Why don't we look at the special events permit? Permits or permits?
Just
Or
one.
what? Just
Yep,
one.
just
Okay.
one today. So we have one special events permit for the Buckskin Bar. It will be for September 20th at the rodeo grounds. They are having a wedding, so we just need that approved.
I'll move to approve the special events permit for the Buckskin.
Second.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Olson, seconded by Commissioner Kleeman to approve the special events permit for the Buckskin Bar and Grill on September 20th. Any more discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. Portfolio reports. Don't we, I know
Got any? Nothing? All right.
Dave had something.
Yep, I got a couple. So we did a Facebook inquiry, I guess you'd call it, for a name for the shooting complex out there. And what they came up with was the Mountain View Shooting Complex is what we're gonna name it. We close on Friday, the 22nd here on the Conoco building, so that should be closed up here by the end of the week. And then we're just getting some plans together on what it's gonna look like after that. We do have an open seat on that board, so if anybody out there wants to get on that board and help us out, just turn in your applications to either Sally or the city of Kildare, either one of them, and then look at applications and go from there. Housing Authority, we've got a proposed program put together, and we're gonna have a public forum meeting on the 28th at 6 o'clock here in the courthouse, open for all public discussion to go over what our program looks like, and hopefully we can make it live after that meeting there.
Sounds
That's
good.
all I got.
Anyone else
What time is that meeting?
6 o'clock
on the 28th?
on the 28th.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, and I know Luann's been putting flyers around. She's getting them out at the lumber yard and stuff and sending them out to builders, and hopefully we can get a lot of people there.
Sounds good. Southwest Multi-Correction Center, I'm on that board, and we recently hired Mike Mosley as the administrator of the jail. He was a police officer in Kildare, and so he started about a week ago, so just to let you know that. And we're also working on some much-needed maintenance issues with domestic water and sewage water pipe replacement. Comes with a significant cost. So trying to work through that. Other than that, things are going pretty good there. Anything else? Why don't we look at the vouchers, as long as we have a few minutes? They were sent out to us yesterday, I believe.
Madam Chairman, I move to pay the vouchers as presented.
Second.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Pelton, seconded by Commissioner Kleeman to pay the vouchers as presented. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll have roll call vote.
Commissioner Heiser,
Yes.
Commissioner Olson,
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton,
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman,
Yes.
Commissioner Dalzell.
Yes. Sally, I see we have Marco. Is that working out good?
It's working out very well. It's saving a lot of money.
That's awesome. I was surprised just in the eye clinic visits, a lot of the equipment for eye is a Marco product. Too. Yeah. So. Okay, so Daryl, are you ready? We can sure scoot you up on the agenda. Okay.
Is that this one, Daryl?
Yeah.
I think
Oh,
we got it
is it
already.
in your packet?
Yeah, it's in the
Okay.
packet.
I didn't know Sally made a copy. I ran out of paper, so you get pretty orange colored paper. I don't know what I had left at home to make you a copy.
Easier to find.
Good morning. Thank you for allowing me a few minutes here to do a couple things that I would like to cover. First of all, while you're taking some time to read that, I'd like to bring you up to date on the Kilder Foundation Fund that is set up back when the actual mall was built years ago now. I don't even know how many years old that is, but we, the committee, the board has decided to change the name of, instead of calling it the Kilder Foundation, we had a motion and it passed the board, and it's going to be changed to Dunn County Foundation Fund. We give away $6,700 this year in grants. We're a little over $220,000 in the fund already. And we're growing at a rate of anywhere from 8 to 14,000 the last 3 years is the numbers that we grow annually off of that. So our long-term goal is we're hoping by 2030 we can be giving away grant money of about 10,000 annually. That's kind of our goal. So with that said, it's going to be new. There's going to be some new information, so you're kind of aware of it. If somebody asks you what kind of happened to the Kilder Foundation, it's just a change in names and nothing to do with the funds. Divisions West, on October 29th, we are having a workshop down in Beulah. It's kind of an annual natural resource and energy group we get together. The morning part of the program is going to be talking about right-of-ways. We're going to talk about pipeline right-of-ways, all other right-of-ways that we can get to talk about and have some open discussion on. Right-of-way is a big issue all across the state. Wherever you go, you hear about it, and it's an issue that needs to be dealt with. The two people that I selected, being I am kind of in charge of the natural resource side, is Gene Harris is going to be one of the presenters and speakers, and then Gene Veeder is going to be the other one. So there's going to be some clips about the things that they worked with and done on a movie side type of deal, video type of thing that we're going to show. Surprisingly, the information I'm gathering right now is probably more good, positive things than there is negative things about right-of-ways on pipelines. And don't take me wrong, there's not negative, there is negative things out there. But I mean, from the two of them and their years of experience, we're probably seeing more positive things on right-of-ways. They're going to talk a little bit about right-of-ways when it comes to road right-of-ways, dealing with county, dealing with energy industry. They're going to talk a little bit about Southwest Water and water right-of-ways and how that works, and public utilities type of things. So we're hoping to, within an hour, try to cover a lot of topics with them guys. I think the one that Dunn County probably needs to pay some attention to is the rare earth mineral program that's going to be at the end of the day. And the reason I say that is for yous that know and some that don't know, Dunn Center, Werner, Halliday, there's a lot of coal underneath there, a lot of lignite coal underneath them communities. And however they learn to extract the rare earth minerals that come from lignite coal, them communities are going to be impacted someday, sometime. Is it 20 years or 40 years or 60 years? I have no idea. But it's moving fairly fast right now. And what happens in Mercer County, I think, is going to be a good example and give us some idea of the trend of what happens with the rare earth minerals coming forward. I'm asking you here just to consider a donation to the program. It's all detailed out here. Sponsorships are anywhere from $100 up to $1,000. And then other amounts, we're asking for some smaller groups and organizations to give door prizes and stuff like that. With that, I'll answer any questions if I can.
Any questions of the board? I guess I would just add that as I'm on Vision West board, executive board, and this has been a very successful, these workshops that have been put on with Natural Resources Committee, and be very worthwhile to attend. And I think it would be good to contribute to this.
Last year, I believe we had 87 paid attendees and over 107 total people for the program.
Yeah.
In Beulah. And it wasn't nice weather that day neither.
Yeah. That's always a gamble.
Yeah.
You have a time that starts?
Pardon me?
Do you have a time for the program?
Starts at 9:30, ends at 3:30. Central Daylight Time. Central Daylight Time.
Yeah.
Yeah. There'll be more flyers and information coming out. We're hoping by the middle of September, we'll have the full page with a full schedule. Right now, we're having still some issues with a couple presenters in some of the programs because we got to bring them from out of state. So,
Guys,
I'll move that we go in at $1,000 sponsorship level for the Visions West Natural Resource Stewardship Program.
I'll second that.
okay, motion by Commissioner Olson, seconded by Commissioner Pelton to go with the $1,000 sponsorship level for the Natural Resource Stewardship workshop. Any more discussion? Okay, we'll have a roll call vote.
Commissioner Heiser?
Yes.
Commissioner Olson?
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton?
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman?
Yes.
Commissioner Dolzall?
Yes, motion carries.
thank you for your
Yeah.
sponsorship. Thank
Yeah.
you for serving our
Yeah.
county.
Daryl,
Yeah,
have you
thank
guys
you,
looked
Daryl.
into the windmill thing yet?
Wind towers?
Wind towers, because Dodge is getting,
I'm not aware of that even. I knew Dodge was having some conversations with landowners, but I haven't heard nothing.
that's something else probably should look into.
Okay.
Because they're
Yep.
it's
That,
quite a,
is it a right of way,
it's everything.
everything?
Everything.
I think they're 5 to 10 years away yet, but
Okay.
They're trying to get people to sign up now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's important to, now's the time, because the right-of-way issue is, it all goes back to the fact, guys, that, and you all know, right-of-ways are negotiable items. And there's nobody that wants to end up in an eminent domain type of situation. It's just not wanted. And so energy is, yeah, that's a good topic, and thank you for that. I'll start building our next year's program on it. Yeah, I can't add it this year anymore, but
Yeah.
Talk to Mike Isaac.
do you have a company name or not?
No.
No.
He's got it.
Oh.
He's got
he
all.
was here and talked to
Okay.
us.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah. So Daryl, I know they've been in contact with Sandy about our zoning regulations
Okay.
and stuff, but
Okay.
nothing has really come to us yet
All right,
at all.
we'll
There's
we'll
a-
have that discussion.
But
with
Sandy would have some of that information.
He attended a meeting here once. He didn't
Oh.
speak or anything. He
Yeah.
talked to you and me.
Yeah.
There's a public input meeting in Dodge next Thursday at 9 a.m. So anybody interested that wants to know more, he'll be there and answer questions and go over anything you want to go over
All right, next Thursday at what time?
at 9 a.m.
9 AM. Right. I don't know if that's going to work, so.
Yeah, I know.
Thanks for the information.
Thank you, Daryl. Okay, why don't we take our break until 10 o'clock? 10 o'clock, and we'll reconvene our meeting. And Debbie Bifford, I believe she's online. So Debbie, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, sure can. So
Okay.
go ahead.
Thank you for allowing me time on the agenda to speak. I just want to make some comments about the policy that was just, I don't know that it's implemented yet. I don't know if you guys have voted on it, but I just want to make a few comments. They're being addressed to all of you. I would just like to know why limiting our time to express our opinion and thoughts in the public comment section is being put into place. And I am aware of Senate Bill 2180. But I'm just wondering, is the entire Dunn County Commission that busy that they cannot take the time during their meeting to respectfully hear our comments and comments that are from your taxpayers? Residents of Dunn County pay the salary of all who work there, not just one person, but ever how many lives here. Not to mention that they help pay, I do believe, the pay that you receive as commissioners. We also pay for the time and the work that engineers conduct and complete in Dunn County. However, their time appears limitless and you ask them questions. It seems like, well, first of all, let me say, how about instead of limiting our time, our free speech time, and start limiting some of the spending that the commissioners are due or agree to so much of the time? How about stop working so hard to limit our time as tax-paying citizens when we wish to speak to an issue that is important to us? I do have a suggestion, though, that might help resolve this dilemma. It would be nice to see, or for you guys to agree and vote on, to post the unofficial minutes of every meeting to the website shortly after every meeting. Now, I'm not saying that Sally has to go and do that like the day of or the next day, but at least by the following Monday, or at least a few days before the next meeting, so that any taxpayer, any Dunn County resident can have the time to look at what was decided, look at what was said, and then, go from there and plan what they want to say. This would allow them to read the issues that were discussed and prepare for addressing their interest in the public comment. This was discussed, I believe, 2 years ago, and nothing ever happened. And I want to know why not. I'm not the only person, though, that wants to know why it wasn't agreed on. For instance, I'll give an example. At the last meeting, the agenda had the Dunn County Roundup listed on the agenda, yet no one knew anything about who, what, when, where, or how. But it was another request for money from the county. Now, I don't know who concocted this policy based on Senate Bill 2180, but in my opinion, whoever decided things need to change here in regard to the public comment section took the law that is not mandatory and made it mandatory for DC policy. Now, that's my opinion, but is that really necessary? I mean, you kind of know which ones are going to have outbursts, which ones are not going to calmly express their opinion. Just either have them sit down, and yes, I do agree, nothing needs to be defamatory, nothing needs to be abusive, and nothing needs to be disorderly. But I don't think everyone in Dunn County needs to be blanketed for the errors or the poor choices of someone else. If you, as commissioners, would give as much time to the taxpayers as you do for those coming to ask for donations, we could possibly have some great communication and dialogue. There probably would not be the appearance of you against us mindset. You just may be able to understand your constituents and their feelings regarding their opinions, their land, their reasons for their opposition to your decisions, and perhaps why they vote you out sometimes. Lastly, if commissioners are given a written comment prior to any meeting, I would like to see that comment to be read aloud during the meeting so that it becomes a public comment and part of the minutes. Now, thank you for your time and allowing me to speak on this. If there's any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. If not, that's fine. But I'm just expressing how I feel about the issue. And then I have one more thing to say about the Dunn County 4-H days.
Any questions or comments? Go ahead, Debbie.
Okay, I just want to thank Dunn County for their helping the kids, and what a good time that the Dunn County 4-H days were. And not just because my grandkids are there. I've had kids involved in it. There's always been good, orderly planning and things like that. And I appreciate that. It was a great one this year. The kids were entertained. I think you had a fair during that time too, didn't you?
Not at the same time. No.
Okay, but close by. And I thought that was really good. Now, I do want to thank Sheriff Kuhn and his agency, his law enforcement agency, for the support and the things that he does, because I do want to mention that there was an incident there, and I felt like I could go to Sheriff Kuhn, and I felt like I could confidentially talk to him about an incident that happened. I just want everybody to know that he offered a suggestion. We took that suggestion and it was handled by an officer. And thank you, Sheriff Kuhn, for doing that, even though I knew you were busily involved in the 4-H interviews. I appreciate your time. I do want to say this, though. If anybody, I do know that there was a comment made, though, to the person with whom that we spoke to. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but a comment was made to the victim about something I said. Law enforcement is there to support victims and help get written statements, which is what happened. But Dunn County is like a little small town. Just because it's a county doesn't mean it's too big to know and to hear what was said. The comment that was made about me to the victim or somebody, I am very disappointed. It is law enforcement's job to enforce the law, support the victim, and help get statements, which is what Sheriff Kuhn did. But if that law enforcement officer went and made a comment to the victim or to someone else, it got back to me, and I'm not very happy about it. I will always support my kids, no matter how old I am, till I die. Let's just say till I die. And I don't think there's a person in that room or on that board that would not support their kids. And the comment that was made, I'm just really disappointed in. If it was made, but somebody in anger mentioned it to me, so something's not right. And I just want to make you guys all aware. I appreciate Sheriff Kuhn. I appreciated that officer, but I did not appreciate the comment. We are all together in this. Law enforcement is there to support victims and to enforce the law, not to give personal opinions to somebody in that person's family and then have it get back to me. I'm not going to be very happy if that were to continue. I'm not going to do anything radical. I'm not going to do anything stupid, but I just wanted that comment as part of this meeting, that it got back to me, and I'm really disappointed. Now, I'm willing to meet with Sheriff Kuhn. I'm willing to meet with the officer, but I don't think that there's a woman in that room or on the board or sitting there in that room that would ever not do the same thing I did and support their kid. Doesn't matter how old they are, they got to have that support, and I will always give it. And I thank you for your time. Thank you, Sheriff Kuhn, for your help during that time. And thank you, Commissioner, for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, Debbie.
Have a good day.
Yeah, you too. All right, Desi, are you able to hop a few minutes early?
Good morning.
Good morning.
I did leave a packet at each of your chairs this morning. And if it's okay with the board, I would like to start with the merit scale for review. It does come before the board every year to be reviewed prior to performance reviews. It should be the first page on your packet.
This?
No, ma'am, it's green.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you. We're good. Go ahead.
It's exactly the same as it was last year. There were no changes since then. So, but what we do need is approval from the board to continue moving forward with the scale, or does it need to be adjusted prior to us going into performance review?
Do you mind just going through and explaining it to us? Because I don't think a lot of us know what this all is.
Sure. The first column there starts with improvement essential, and those are the ratings that the employees would get on their performance review. And their merit is based on their overall rating. So not just the rating on one piece, but their overall rating. So let's just go with an employee gets a satisfactory rating overall on their review. We do utilize compa ratio when determining what percent they get for merit. And compa ratio is the relation between your pay and where you are towards the midpoint of your range, right? So if you are at 100% compa ratio, that means you are at the mid-range, the midpoint of your pay range, okay? So the further you get into your compa ratio, or the further you go into your range of pay, the percentage that you're able to achieve with performance is lower than if you were at the beginning of your scale. There are a couple of reasons for that. The further you go into your range, obviously, the more your pay rate is, right? And then the greater number that percentage is going to end up being. The second reason is that the further you go into your pay range, that normally reflects your years in your position. And there is an expectation that when you get past the midpoint of your range, you have been here for a while, and there's an expectation that you are doing an excellent job. So there is less potential for you to get a larger increase. And also, you will eventually reach the max of your range.
So we already have built into this merit scale or pay scale a maximum.
Yes, ma'am. If you wanted to discuss that further, we sure can right now. I did also provide the stapled packet, which is kind of a overall summary of our pay scale and our pay processes. The first page of that packet should look like this. It has a table on it, top line's blue. The top of that page is just kind of starts out at the beginning. So 2019, is when the board decided that they wanted to go forward with developing a pay plan. So that consisted of developing a classification structure for the jobs within the county and a pay scale. And the goal at the time of the board was to improve recruitment and retention and to ensure internal pay equity. We did partner with an outside vendor to do that classification and compensation study. In 2020, and please stop me if you have any questions in the middle. In 2020, the classification structure and the pay scale was implemented. In 2021, we did initiate the performance review process and implemented the merit increase, which is what's before you for review today. Previously to that, employees did not receive a pay raise. They did receive, I believe every year that I've been here, a cost of living adjustment, but they did not receive a pay increase. In 2023, we did review the merit scale that you have before you today, and it was adjusted at that time. And between 23 and 24, we developed and implemented the new hire rate table to help determine starting wages. And that should be the third page in your packet. It is kind of small, and I apologize for that. I did want to include the entire table. A little bit of explanation for that is on the right-hand side, you would see a column that the header is step, and then there are numbers there, and they correspond with the columns in the table. Next to that, to the right, you see a column for indirect and a column for direct. And what that stands for is your experience related to the job that you've applied for and are potentially being offered. So we look at your resume and determine how much, let's go with indirect, how much indirect experience you have in relation to the position that you want. What kind of transferable skills and how many years of that do you have? And then we would apply it to this table. So if our candidate had 5 to 7 years of indirect experience, their offer would be at step 3. And if we look at, let's say, B22, that step is 2640. So that would be where we would start that offer. Consequently, if we were looking at direct experience, if the candidate had direct experience for the position that they were applying for, we would use the direct experience column. And you will notice that with direct experience, you do get, we do give more value to direct experience than we do indirect experience. So if that same candidate had, let's say 6 to 7 years of direct experience, they would start at a level 5. Same row, B22, level 5 would be $28.01. This is very similar to what some counties use. You probably recognize the word step. They do step increases. And that is the basis of this table. So we did it as a step when we're looking at new hires and bringing them into our pay scale. The range does go from 1 to 10. 10 being just above the minimum, or I'm sorry, just above the midpoint of a range.
So how do you know a person's an A11 or an E92? How do you get them to that classification level?
Sure. So let's see. Your first page in that packet with the blue column, that is our pay structure. And the classifications are down the side, so A11, A12, A13. And that classification was assigned to the jobs that we have in the county when we did the classification study with the vendor back in 2019. And then we also have a giant book, basically directions on how to review a position and classify it in that structure.
So each job description that we're hiring for is assigned that before we hire for that position? Then?
Yes, sir. If you remember back when Sally brought the new position for her office. I believe she included the classification number for that in her presentation.
Okay.
So today, we need to, are you looking for us to approve the merits scale?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep, today I would hope to get an approval of the scale as it is, or direction if it needs to be adjusted, because we are coming into fall and performance reviews will start fairly quickly.
So I know there was a little discussion about employees moving too fast through the scale, or too, you know, that there should maybe be caps, which there are,
Mhm.
but, you know, are we okay with the merit scale as it is? It was increased last year?
In
So-
2023.
Or 23, okay.
Yes,
Not
ma'am.
24, okay. To, where that leading position now is 3.5%.
Mhm.
So by approving this merit scale as it is now, we are moving our employees possibly faster through the pay scale, correct?
Yes, ma'am. And I can't recall now, did I include this in your packet? Great.
Mhm. You did.
So the top table is as it sits now, and the second one down is what it was before it was adjusted.
So this is what it was adjusted to in 23 then?
Right, the top one, yes,
Okay.
sir. And that should also match your first page there.
Yep.
Or
What is the commission's wishes? Any comments?
You guys okay
Would
with
you
it?
like to table this to look at it further, or go ahead with continuing the way we have had it?
I'm not in favor of this merit system at all. I'm just, I don't know. I don't know how some people get judged on it, for one thing. I'm not in favor of the merit system at all. My idea is this year, I'd like to, employees keep their longevity, pay their insurance, and we give every employee except for the commissioners $4,000 bonus. And that's it.
The merit system, I mean, we went with that, the commission did, I wasn't a commissioner at the time, to go to this merit system. So that was a decision of the board. If we were to scrap it all, we'd have to just basically move to.
Madam Chairman,
Go ahead.
if I might address that, when I first got up here, you did state that there's some concern that people are moving through their pay range too quickly.
Mhm.
And what going with that lump sum payment to each employee, regardless of classification, would do is move some of those people through their pay range faster than others. When you look at moving someone with a percentage, if person A gets 2.5% merit and person B gets 2.5% merit, but they have different pay, they're still moving through their pay scale at the same rate.
But when you give us, Mrs. Chairman, when you give a 3% increase in wages and 3% merit, some people go up 8,000, some people go up 3.
Correct. When you break it down that way, the one thing I would point out is that cost of living adjustment, if it's, you said 3%, if cost of living adjustment is 3%, person A moves up 3% for cost of living, person B moves up 3% for cost of living, but so do their ranges. So that 3% isn't moving them anywhere within their range. Only their merit increase, whatever percent that is, if it's 3.5, then they would move 3.5% through their range. Because the range moves with you for a cost of living adjustment.
Why aren't we just on a step program where everybody gets a $2 raise? Everybody. Instead of this merit thing. And I'm willing, I want to change it. I've talked to a lot of counties in the last 2 weeks. And they've been everywhere from 3% to $1 an hour. And the merit thing, you don't do it because they said it doesn't help. The only ones that help is the ones that bring the cookies. That's exactly what they said.
I don't believe that's true here at all. I will say Stark County is moving to this. They use Dunn County as a model, and they're moving towards this system because they like what we do. Not to say everything will be the same, but I've talked to 2 of their commissioners, and they basically said we've been looking at Dunn County's plan and are using kind of a version of it because they believe it's the way to go. So
I had a conversation with some of my old cohorts I used to work with, and they got a raise with 60 cents an hour with a lot of experience, so.
yeah, I mean, I can't speak to individual people either, but this was a decision made by the board several years ago, and it's what we have right now. So, and a lot of work goes into determining midpoint and all the ranges, and so cost of living is one thing. It's your dollar, your salary, which is determined to be a certain point for whether you're a road worker or work in the weed department or in the office. That salary.
Holly?
Guess we're okay. So the cost of living is so that you continue to make that same wage. It's just bringing it up to what the market or what it is now. So if you make $20 an hour with cost of living, it's saying just to continue at that $20 an hour, you need that adjustment. So I believe that the cost of living is one thing, and then the decision to go with merit for employees that was made by the board, that's another process. So.
I'm in favor of keeping the merit raise. I like the idea of the guy that tries harder gets more.
And that was,
that tries harder.
yeah, and that's why, the discussion was, and the decision made, I believe at the time, is to look at the performance of our employees. And so.
Yeah, I mean, one thing, if you wanted to look at it to where, because you're trying to even them out, you'd look at your compa ratios. So your higher compa ratios, you would give less percentage raises in merit availability if you wanted to go that route.
So I guess if Commission is willing, I'd entertain a motion to stay with the merit plan as we've had it, or else I'd look for a motion to table, or any motion, I guess.
I'll move it to table to take a look at it.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Olson, seconded by Commissioner Kleeman to table action on the merit plan going forward. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Desi. 10:30, so Jean and Rick. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hi.
Thanks for taking the time for us this morning. Today, my hat today is, I'm Gene Harris, but I'm a district chairman for District 2 for the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame. And we have 13 districts, and District 2 is made up of Dunn and McKenzie County. So today we're here to talk about the legacy project that the Board of Directors of the Hall of Fame has taken on to redo the current hall and modernize it. And basically, with the presidential library coming to Medora, it made it probably more obvious that we needed to continue to update and keep the hall in the forefront of the technology that's available. And so that's kind of where we're at. And, you know, the Dunn County has many members inducted in the Hall of Fame. And we probably have, our district has more inductees in the Hall of Fame than any other districts that in the state. But we have a lot of history here that's showcased in Medora, and it just, we just came to give you the, well, to try to convince you to support us, but also to make you aware of what we're really trying to do. And I'll turn it over to Rick to kind of get into details, and we'll take any questions afterwards.
Thanks, Gene. Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
It's good to be here today. This is a project, and I call it a reimagining of the Hall of Fame. It's something that we, as a Board of Directors, looked at. It's been about a year that we, and it all had to do with the activity in Medora and the things that are going on, and just basically telling our story, but making sure that we're telling it right, and with, for instance, with technology that, you know, and moving in that direction. So that's kind of where we started, and we decided, hey, we better find, you know, we better find out what we could do and what it would cost us to do that, and so that's kind of where we started, and it's been almost a year that we've been going down that road with, you know, just hiring an architect and architectural firm, and then looking at what we, you know, where we could go. Technology being the leader in what we decided to do. We looked at the space that we could utilize, and how we would utilize it with an extra. Basically, we're going to have an extra 10,000 feet from the first floor and to the second floor. And one of the things, you know, immediately was we had no space for the archive curation. Just anytime somebody would want to give us something to use in the museum, we just didn't have the room to do it. So that was one of the things. The second thing was looking at how we tell our story better with technology, and with that, you know, we looked at the top floor, and I think that you have the schematics there. And with the top floor, we'd be able to, we call it a learning center, event center. That could, we didn't purposely want to build this to have banquets, but something that we could do. We really wanted to look at the learning, educational part of this, where we can tell our story to, you know, in the middle of the summer, actually, with tourists about North Dakota and about where we came from, and where we're at today, both agriculturally and you know, from the past. We also moving our Hall of Honorees from the top floor to the bottom floor to probably our biggest, probably the light of the Hall of Fame, and it was always on the second floor. We decided to move it, give it more light front and center to anybody that comes into the museum. So with that, again, more technology to, to really put our Hall of Honorees front and center. One of the biggest things is we decided on a kids center that we can tell that story, that they understand. And I think you probably understand what I mean by that. Just to having a station for farming and ranching and rodeo and interactive for our younger kids that come through. We also have a catering kitchen that will fully take care of the event center. Should we be able to rent it out or use as for the Hall of Fame and for events that we have. So, prior to this, we've had an outdoor patio, and that outdoor patio is a great thing. It's going to be hard to lose that, but without, with the something that can be used year-round compared to in the middle of the summer on a 100-degree day like today, it's hard to sit on that patio, or if someone's to rent it out, or any functions that we have. So that all of these things come into what we're what we were really trying to do if we did it, and we've thought about it a lot on how we best utilize that space, because it's absolutely the most space we can have. And so and that was that goes back to the front end. I mean, there was talk about maybe rebuilding at a different location, but that was quickly decided that hey, if we can just add more space, that's the way we needed to do. We think that the reason we're here today, and the reason that actually going to the counties came from some of the people that I was out talking to, just visiting with, and said, hey, have you gone to the county? Maybe they have some money that they would give you for this project. And then we decided that maybe at least to tell our story to you and see if this was something that you would like. But we really believe that it's a statewide, regional project, and that's the reason basically we're here today. But just to see where you're at as far as financial support for the Hall of Fame. But with that, I entertain any questions you have about what we're doing or why we're doing it.
Any questions?
Rick, I see you got design development, and is there any kind of an estimate? What do they think the project's going to run?
Excuse me, I meant to do that right away. It's going to be about a $12.5 million project. So we're about halfway there right now, just to kind of bring you up to date. One of the first things that our board directed me was we're not going to build this unless we can find the money, and then we're to a point right now where we're right at we've got everything designed. We're at the very last stage of construction bids and that. So we hope that can happen, hopefully this fall to late by the first of the year. And we're talking to architects and every day about that. So, and kind of putting starting points to ending points. It's about a 12-month project to do. So,
any other questions or comments? So you were to what other counties to date?
Billings County and McKenzie County so far, and I've got a couple other counties, Montreal County and Williams County also.
Mm-hmm. And McKenzie had committed $1 million, was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think this is, this museum, houses a lot of our history and heritage. It's not here in Dunn County, but yet it's where our history and, artifacts, people recognition is there. And so I really, support this. And I can attest to the fact that there's, it's overcrowded now. You don't have the room that you need. So I guess I would support giving some funding to this project. Other comment?
Just curious. I know some of my neighbors are in there. Do you know how many people in Dunn County are in the Hall of Fame right now?
Do I have that on my, I do there, shoot, I can't remember exactly. I don't have that with me. There was 102 people from McKenzie and Dunn County total. Those two. So when I say that, out of 160 people, out of our 260 now are, I think we're at 262 that have been in the hall now. And 102 of those come from these two counties, from McKenzie and Dunn. And that is our, that's the biggest membership-wise and support-wise, and also the inductees come from those two counties, so.
I guess the other thing, our gross production tax money, I think, it supports our roads, obviously, and the county, and keeps taxes very low in Dunn County. But I think it's important too that we can use that funding, to support our kind of a legacy of in our history. I think that's important too, that they contribute to that. So.
And how many of them people that go to that Cowboy Hall of Fame decide, hey, I want to go to Dunn County?
Mm-hmm.
So they're bringing people to the county, business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, along with, the Cowboy Hall of Fame, and when that Theodore Roosevelt Library gets built, it's going to be a regional impact to Dunn County as well. So
I think it's a great idea too, as far as support. I'm kind of at the money gal over here. I mean, I think we need to support it, and like you said, it says cowboy right on the building, so what, this is Killdeer Cowboy. I'm 100% support. I'm just kind of struggling at what number to put out there. I think we should support it well, but.
Why don't we table this till next meeting, and Sally, you kind of look and see where we'd be at without. I'm support you guys,
any other?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm all in support too, but yeah, let's see what the finances say, what we can do,
Okay.
So, yeah, I'll second the motion to table.
Okay, so there's a motion by Commissioner Kleeman, second by Commissioner Olson, to table until the next meeting, support for the North Dakota Cowboy Hall of Fame. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thanks for your presentation. And
Thank you very much.
your work. Thank you.
We want
We
you guys to
appreciate
get
it.
outside where it's nice and warm again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I hope you don't have anything going on in the patio today.
I hope not.
I'll take the nature
Yeah,
outside.
thanks a lot.
Thanks again.
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
Next up, Roger Cattermus on the section line improvement.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Thank you for taking the time to hear this matter, and thank you for taking the time, some of you, to visit the site. I guess I'm here today representing myself and 5 other producers. We have a section line, a trail that needs to be improved. I know I submitted a video to Sally. I'm not sure if you guys want to watch that before or after. So we're talking about section 22. It's 640 acres of Badlands property that we did a 3-year lease that turned into a purchase. So we ended up purchasing the whole 640. At that time, we had our access. It was a 130-year-old road, the Oakland Fayette Stagecoach Trail, and our gates were on the section line. That was closed. So our only access into this property is the 111th Avenue section line. There are 5 other producers besides myself. They bring their animals, some bring them in from the west, but they take them out through that line, and some kind of trail them halfway down that line. But it's shrubbery, it's trees, it's bullberries, and when you run 80 to 100 head of cattle down it, you can scratch 3 calves to get trampled in the mud. So it's, I guess when you see the video, you'll kind of understand. And then I can answer any questions, and I have a little bit more to talk about. So this would be coming off 23rd Street. You can see the road to the right is a section line that was improved. The road to the left goes on to the section line. So that's the start of it right there. There is a Cattermosley and Jackson survey pin at the start of the project and one at the end of the project. The south end is maneuverable with a trailer about halfway there, and then it gets pretty bad. So what we need is an access point to get sick or injured animals out, and to get our animals in and out of there. This line was never used before, never a need for it, and now there's a need arose. And this section here, I know some of you had visited. This is manageable. I can hear you. You can skip forward to the trees up there. That's where it kind of gets brutal. Okay, this is where the access gets tricky. So the gate on the left, we can get in that pasture, but this is where it's untravelable with a stock trailer or even a pickup. There's 3 drainage areas here that, you know, if you just go in there with a skid steer and just kind of grade it, you're going to have severe erosion. And you'll notice down here on the bottom off to the left, there's a pretty good drainage erosion starting there. And the hills and valleys are pretty much impossible to take a loaded trailer up and down. This is the low area of the project. Up ahead here, about 200 feet, you'll see a major wash area where the property from the right drains into the property of the left, and you can see it on the extreme left side. There's a gorge about 20 foot deep and 20 foot wide. And it's coming up right there, you'll see it. And another big obstacle is the hill right in front of us. That would have to be shaved down and then brought down in the bottom here and culverts installed. You can skip up to the top of that hill if you wanted to. I think I've seen 3 to 4 pickups back there in 50 years. So these are producing Aaron Robinson's cows. He's in the audience. And back here, it gets pretty hairy. This is probably the worst part back in through here. The fence on the left looks like it was moved in, so that fence on the left would have to be moved out. The fence on the right looks like it's right on the property line. So in here, I wouldn't even know how to fix that. And there's about 400 cows that use this line. We're coming up to the last section here. You can skip up to the top of that roadway. Perfect. So section 22 is when you get to the top of this little rise here. So that is section 22. And that's our property gate there. That's the only way in there. My two sons purchased the section on the south of 320. That's access to theirs. I purchased the 320 on the north. She's fully landlocked. The access got shut off on the section line. So I have no way to get in and out of there. So I'm speaking with my sons to get an access through theirs to get to mine, which they said they'd give me. So it's 1 mile in length. There is a survey marker on the north, on the south, and on the south. Our main concern here is to get a trailer in and out of there to retrieve a sick animal. We had a bull go down this summer. Another bull beat him up, and we had a heck of a time getting permission to get in there and get that sick animal from the other route. So we're here asking the commission for help.
Is the other route on the section line?
There was the old Oakdale Fayette stage line, and that has culverts and a bridge on it. And it's been in service since 1890, but that was shut down. And our gates were on the section line there. So I spoke with Mr. Heiser, and Mr. Heiser suggested I bring this to the commission. That commission is always looking for projects and utilize that fancy equipment we have.
I said it to be a full board decision, not just an Al Heiser decision.
No, Al Heiser asked me to bring it to the board, to put it in front of the board for the board's decision. And it's a project to put money back in Dunn County roads. I mean, we don't have an option B.
We get easements all the way along there.
You have an easement already on there. That's a full section line.
I think it veers off the section line quite a bit.
It don't stay on the section line.
The fence on the right is true to the section line coming off of 24th Street. The section on the left, which would be Chuck Cattermas, that's my uncle, and Charmaine Cattermas, which is my aunt, her fence dives into the section a little bit, section line, from her gate to the north. And you can see the section line doesn't go over that last big butte. The section line goes around the butte because it's impossible to go over the top. And I would estimate that section line is well over 100 years old, probably 120 years old. And it's been traveled every year by somebody. And on the south end, it's fenced, I would estimate 66 to 80 foot wide. On the north, she trims down to about 35 to 50 foot. And I think what happened is when the people were fencing, they just took the easiest route and ran the wires. They didn't want to go over the humps.
anyone else here that wants to speak to this issue?
When you look at that road, it doesn't look bad when you drive with the four-wheeler, but I chase my cows out of there every year. And even with a four-wheeler, you have a hard time getting up and down those hills, especially when it's muddy like this. Lost one in there a few years ago, but I couldn't even get in there with a tractor to go a shooter there. So it's not passable even with four-wheelers.
And like Mr. Havelka said, bringing the cows out is easy. That's easy. The calves are 6 weights. It's when the calves are 100 pounds that those bulls will jump up on them cows and just smash the calves.
I know it's kind of a difficult decision, but I want to be so careful because if we start fixing section lines that have been there for 100 years in the Badlands when some access has been denied or whatever, I just think we're going to set a precedent, so we don't want to go down that trail. I'm really struggling with interjecting the county into that. We actually did have boots on the ground on Monday. We looked at it, and took Terry along with us to kind of see what we were up against. I don't know, it's something that I'm not sure the county wants to get involved in, because then we're going to set a precedent. I think if a guy could get a permit, then he could maybe do it on his own, but I'm just leery about what kind of precedents we're going to set. And I'm just speaking for myself. There's 4 other commissioners here. I'd like to hear what you got to say about it, but that's my concern. I like to help people when we can, but what are we going to start here? I mean, it's.
Well, now, Mr. Heiser, you brought a point up, start a precedence to improve, to bring cows in. We lost a 130-year-old road. We lost it. People have been traveling. There was a house back there. They moved the house to Dickinson. The owners that we purchased it from bought it in 1973. Words were exchanged then from the 2 people on each side. Yeah, you can travel it, no problem. We went back there, we rented it. There was a party who was not happy with that, and they shut the access off. So we don't have an option B here. And if there's somebody else like that, then, they should be deserved to listen to, but we don't have an option.
Shouldn't that be established after that many years?
So
I think is Pat on the line?
So,
I think he did lots of research on this here, and I received a letter, and there's quite a bit of correspondence about that. I don't think they could even find an easement of any sort.
So, Mr. Kleeman, to answer your question a little thoroughly, I paid a person $1,000 to come to the courthouse to research the Fayette-Oakland stage line, which was developed in 1890. There was 30 people in Oakdale, the Kilder Mountains, which that stage line served. If you zoom in on that road, 110th Avenue, you'll see a building there. It used to be the old Zoe Life Church. The section line goes from 24th north, right? You can see it right there. It goes north to the Zoe Life Church, and then it veers off to the right. Dunn County has no easements on any of that. And there's 3 residents back there. One farm has been there. The farm on the right, Lester Metz's farm, has been there since the 1930s. There's a gentleman now erecting a brand new shop at the end of that road. So the road, like Mr. Heiser said, easements. You got 7 miles of stagecoach trail, which is a historic landmark. They found an 1820s hawk and gun in that pasture 10 years ago. There was a battle that was fought in the southwest corner, a documented battle. But that 3 miles, there's nothing on it. Our gates, to answer Mr. Kleeman's question, our gates are, and I believe there's pictures, I brought pictures in as well. Our gates on this property are on the section line that is 1 mile long, 66 foot wide, and has culverts in it with 20-foot wide graded surface. She was a road. And I'll just wait for those pictures to come up. And there was quite a dispute with a party, you know, I don't know if it was, we were in their area or they wanted to purchase the land or it was an old feud, but they shut everybody off. Everybody. Nobody can go there anymore. They said if somebody goes there, they'll be arrested. So if you,
Go ahead.
if you look at this, so if you can back up a little bit, show a different slide. So this is coming through, off to the left, there is a bridge with railroad ties. It's a true bridge, about 8 foot in height with a grade surface right in those trees. And the owner removed the planks from that bridge so nobody could drive on it. So then people started veering around on that trail. So you can go to the next slide. So that is the end of this other party's property. It's a 1/4 mile long is the length of this disputed trail. You'll see the other party's gate right there. And I don't know if you can zoom in on that. You'll see one of our gates on the other side of that section line. The Oakdale Trail goes in this first gate, turns to the right, and you can see she's about 80-foot fenced, flat surface. It goes north for a mile before jumping into the north property, which I purchased, into the gate, and the Oakdale stage line follows that all the way through my property, through Sadowski's property. On the beginning and end of every property, there are double gates. It's double fences back there, and the road goes right through those gates. And you can drive an RV on it. There's 18-inch cement culverts. There's ditches, 3-foot deep ditches. Is a road. But like Mr. Heiser said, it has not been documented. But at the same time, there's 3 people living on that undocumented road that Dunn County is taking care of.
So there is something, no attorney, but easement by prescription. You know, if it's been there, I don't know if the time frame is 20 years or not. I don't know.
So there's a thing called adverse prescriptive easement in which you must have traveled that road for 20 years. You can piggyback on the previous owner. And this isn't why I came here today. I came here to this road. But it's adverse prescriptive easement, which you can piggyback on the prior person. So Mr. Pavlicek bought this property in 1973. Before that, Leonard Dvorak bought it in 1944. Before that, Ensel out of Dickinson bought it in 1906. I researched it all. There's no easements on any of that, I would call 7 miles of road. It swaps every 44 years. But I'm no attorney, and that is our section line, and we're being blocked on it, 1/4 mile. So I know there's a state law that says you cannot block a section line or block access to a section line, and that's where our gates are. That's been traveled, and if you zoom in, I don't know if we can zoom in up there to the right. Okay, there's a corral system up there, built in the late 60s, with a truck loadout and a stock trailer loadout. That's how the animals were brought in and out of that pasture. And you can see by the wear on that road, that just wasn't created yesterday. Either way it goes, we need to have access. This property was $1.9 million. We got to have access into there.
I just wish that Pat was on, because I've got a letter from him here describing a lot of it. And, you know, he talked about prescriptive easements. In one of his 4th letters, he said easement by prescription is even more difficult to establish. And they can't find any documents that there's an easement or right-of-way or anything here. So I think, like Roger said, we're not here today about this access on the right side. We're here on the access on 111th only.
Pat's on.
Is he? Hey, Pat, maybe you could, I don't know how far in the weeds we want to get with this here, but I mean, we talk about the access that was there, but apparently there's really no supporting documents that said there was even an easement there.
Right, guys. As I mentioned in the letter, this happens frequently. I haven't become an expert on section line roads because I like them or these easement type issues, but they commonly arise. And what's going to happen, I'm afraid, is these folks are going to have to go in and get a civil action going, some sort of quiet title action or declaratory judgment to clarify whether or not it is, oftentimes the section line road turns out not to be a section line road. Oftentimes it's either a permissive use or it is something that was allowed for a short period of time. But I will tell you, in North Dakota, it is a long and arduous process to establish that 20-year continuous use requirement. But at a minimum, any of these disputes are more, unless it's a section line road, that can be established, through the grant and how it's preserved by the county map system. They're going to have to go into civil court and work it out there between the two of them. It's not something over which we have jurisdiction.
Mr. Merriman, I have two questions. Number one, my concern, we're kind of in the weeds on this, but my concern is I'm being blocked from a section line. Number two is the gate, when you see the gate in front of you, there's a road to the right with trails going down it. And that gate is on a section line. So that is an established section line with a 1 mile road on it. That's where it becomes touchy. It is a road on a section line.
Well, without actually having the photographs and the deputy's report in front of me this morning, I know that I've written at least one memorandum back in 2017 that dealt with a fence that was being put up across the section line road. But until we can establish that what you're wanting to travel over is in fact a section line road that has been blocked, there's really nothing I can do or Christina's office can do to remove any obstruction or to allow you to travel it. I will tell you that this happens frequently in both Dunn County, my experience has been, and down here in Hettinger County, where you have two neighbors that take opposing views, and invariably it winds up having to be settled by going into civil court and letting a judge decide the issue. Because at this point, I just do not have enough information that's been provided to establish that the entire easement that you're wanting to use is in fact a section line road.
It is not. The piece of property that we're talking about is a 1/4 mile that goes through the party's land that ends at this fence. And then the road that goes to my gate is on that section line. And that is a road on a section line. So I guess my last word on the matter, I'm being blocked to access my gate that is on a 1 mile long, 66-foot wide section line, according to Google Maps, that has a road with culverts on it. And that's where I'm at.
That 1/4 mile that's on the other landowner's land there, you can't stay on section line to get around that 1/4 mile, just topography and stuff's too tough.
No.
Mr. Heiser and I looked at it, and there's a reason that the stagecoach went around the mountain.
Yeah.
All I got to say.
The main section line is so far from this access point.
They just went around it, and it's been like that since 1890. I mean, they're finding artifacts on the trail. This was used to bring supplies and people to the two towns. And if Dunn County at the time didn't put an easement, which they didn't, there's no easements all the way from 19th Street to 24th Street. There's no easements. So that's 5 miles. Someday somebody, because right now Dunn County is scoring on that road and they're grading it and they don't got an easement. So we're doing private property. All the way from the Zoe Life Church, all the way 3 residents to the north, it veers off. So someday someone has to address this.
Back to what's at hand here. We're on the section line on 111. This is what we're dealing with here today. Regardless about anything else, this is what we're here today to decide what we're going to do.
To me, it seems like so much of it is so rough that even if you made any improvements, it wouldn't hold, would it?
You'd have to go in, you'd have to put some culverts in. You'd have to go in with the dozer and just knock some of the high spots down and just make a trail. And yes, it probably will erode because it's the Badlands. So it's not a good situation, but
As far as, allowing section line improvement by the parties involved, we could provide some culverts and help out in certain areas, but is it going to be enough to help resolve the situation?
If we went and did it, we'd need an easement all the way through it.
Mhm. Because it's off the section line. Yeah.
I think it does veer off. Don't know that, but I mean, once you get up and down these hills, well, you lose track of, unless there's an exact point on the north end.
Would it be easier to do this with a pen rather than a bulldozer? Would it be easier to, if the county commission is not willing to spend, I'm not a road guy, but I'm going to say 107. Why don't we address the elephant in the room? Right there's a section line with a road on it.
I said that one there is going to be a civil case.
You read that letter that was sent out. It explains it very well, what the next steps are. And it's not for this board to decide that. It says right in there. It's not for this commission to decide that. It's a civil matter. So
Exactly.
like I said, this is a section line at hand. I think we've discussed it enough. I think I would like some of our other board members to discuss on it. And I think Tracy had a good idea. I mean, if you wanted, I think they let do it yourself. And, maybe if you would just put some culverts in and get a dozer in there, make yourself a trail in there and go with it. But I don't know.
I myself would like to see you get it, because I got 2 miles of mine that I'm traveling on Corps of Engineers. They ever shut that off, I need access to. And it's in the Badlands.
This is not a normal thing here. This, one road was traveled 130 years, it got shut off like a light switch. That leaves us to this here, which has, like Al said, it's a monster.
Our road guy said it was doable, but.
I mean, you could do
All
it.
you want to, it's not going to be an all-weather road.
No.
Doesn't need to. We just need to get a pickup and trailer into there. When I spoke with Mr. Heiser on this, he said, bring it up to the commission. They're always looking for projects to help farmers and ranchers. We have brand new equipment sitting and nobody's using it. Come there and bring it up. And that's what I did.
Well, like I said, I'm only one of the 5, so somebody else put your input in. Either we help them out or we supply them some culverts or.
I'm not against helping them out, but we do got a legal, if we're going to do work on it, I think we should have an easement.
I feel we could give them, we got culverts sitting there, we could put in there, we could probably even get some swale for them. But as far as going in and redoing this road, like I said, I'm just sitting here waiting for you guys to say yes. 'Cause I got 2 miles of going into my place, into land that I got to trail cows up to.
And guys, I'd point out one more thing. The reason why a lot of these section line issues occur is because nobody ever formally documented in the minutes who was responsible for what, or properly recorded the documents. So I think the comment by the commissioner that the easement issue needs to be settled, I think that's true, because otherwise we'll just be revisiting this down the road after the property changes hands again. My firm here in Henninger, that's what I practice. And I will tell you that this is a very common issue between landowners, particularly when property changes hands, whether that's by sale or by probate. it really, it's a mess that will continue to come up if it's not resolved. So the actual definition of this thing needs to be defined. And I think that needs to be done before anything else happens to make sure we don't have to revisit this down the road.
So Pat, your suggestion is make sure there's easements?
Yeah, just get it defined. Is it an easement by prescription? Is it there's an easement by necessity? There's easement by agreement. Is it, what portion is the section line? I mean, we don't even know at this point what the actual legal description of it is, as far as I know. I don't believe I've seen a legal description of this thing at all. And all of those things are going to wind up being a problem down the road. I mean, it really causes a lot of issues in real estate closings and in maintenance and upkeep. And I would point out to the commission, if you do expend public funds on it, then there is some liability issues that are attached. And there's also some issues as to how it's to be maintained, repaired, and improved in the future. So in my opinion, where this starts is a definition of what it actually is, okay? And then a legal description. And at that point, then I think we're in a much better position to be discussing how or what or if it's going to be repaired, maintained, or improved, okay? Nothing personal, but I don't know that Dunn County kept very good records back through the 20s, through the 50s, because I've had this come up more than once.
Mr. Merriman, you were talking about the prescriptive easements. What road, what line were you talking about on that?
Well, the whole thing, guys, I mean, it sounds like it's a convoluted situation where at least a portion of this is a section line road, but there also appears, based on the last time I looked at this, and granted it's been a month or so, that part of this may have been a permissive use that property owner A allowed and then rescinded. I know there's some dispute back and forth, but that's what the civil court is for, by a preponderance of the evidence, what is it and who's entitled to use it? And I think that needs to be determined.
Understand. We were going to proceed with those actions this week on this, but I held my attorney back until I came to this meeting. But that, when you drop 1.9, got to have a road.
And I understand your situation, sir. It's just one of those problems where it's not really something that government can fix. It's something that the property owners need to get defined. And then if we can be involved, I think the commissioners are correct that they could review it to determine whether they can assist. But until it's defined, it's still a mess.
Okay, perfect. We will go ahead with those proceedings on our side.
Okay, and feel free to have your attorney contact me because I've still got the research that I did here. I mean, we don't have a dog in the fight at this point, but I understand your concern.
No, and like I said, I researched Dunn County back to 1902 when the first entry was put in the book in 1902. When this property was sold in 1906, the guy had to pay the interest up to date, and it was 50 cents. So we went all the way back, and it surprises me. There's nothing on this whole trail. And there's 18-inch concrete culverts. There's a bridge. So the county expended some money in there at one time. But we will pursue it in court on a private basis.
Any other comments?
We go the other way. I say we need an easement before we can.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, go ahead.
Maybe we should come up to the mic here so we can have it on recording, so there's no.
Yeah.
No.
I'm Harlan.
Pull the mic over.
I own this property that Scott was trying to cross. The reason that road is there, that road went into the Mets property
And Amoco Oil built a oil site back in the next section. That's why there's culverts and all that in there. And Lester Metz, who I purchased that land from, wanted to leave that road because he said, well, that's going to give you a good road down to your property. When Roger said he researched this, apparently he didn't research it all. Sam Bassick owned that first half mile of that road, and there's an easement that he sold to the county, and I believe it was 1928, for $93, 3 acres for the first half mile. From there on, there's nothing. It was abandoned. The reason that bridge was torn out, when I bought the property in 1984, that was all rotted wood. My sons were little boys. We took all that out because we didn't want the liability of somebody driving on that bridge. It was completely rotted. It hadn't been used since 19 whatever. So that's just what I got to say about it.
The county put that bridge in?
At some point, somebody did.
None of us in this room were born.
Yeah.
If I can respond to that, Mr. Bullinger is right. Mr. Bullinger is right about the Amoco Oil. They did improve that first half mile. The concrete 18-inch culverts I'm talking about is from that point past that old Fayette line. On his property, all he has is the bridge that he tore out. And it was a safety hazard, so I get it. That's why he did it. But from there on, it's all concrete. You know, there's obviously iron was there to use it.
That first point where that was put in by Amoco Oil. Oil got an easement. The oil road for production, build or to pull that oil well, and it was never produced, or they abandoned it. Because that road looped around with my corrals there, and back in there, they tore all that road out. That was Amoco Oil. Fixed up the first mile.
Last word on the matter, Mr. Bullinger is right. The Amoco did build it up to the corrals. My access is from the corrals over that old bridge on that flat road. I'm not over into Amoco site was on the east. I'm on the west side. So I'm hoping after this hearing, me and Mr. Bullinger can sit down and kind of get together on this. So that's what I'm hoping.
Thank you for coming in, and well, this commission has any other comments this time?
Get solved.
I hope so.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Harlan. Okay, did we cover everything? Okay. I guess.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Kleeman, second by Commissioner Heiser to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.